Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive into my reading plans for the month of June, and let's go ahead and start with what I plan on carrying over from May. The first book up is The Crossing by Cormac McCarthy. Now, this is a book that I probably could still finish in May. It's not that long, but I just want to be in the mood for it, and towards the end of May, when I had some time to actually read it, I wasn't in the mood for it, and I loved All the Pretty Horses, the first book in the Border trilogy by Cormac McCarthy, that I really wanted to make sure that I gave it the right frame of mind for myself when I was reading it, because I really want to enjoy it. And I think it's one of those books that it's going to take a little bit more effort, and I'm really going to need to be involved in it when I'm reading it. So I wanted to make sure that I gave it that. And so this may actually be a book that I don't get to at all in June either. I just really want to be in the mood for it, and whenever that time comes, I will pick it up and read it. The other book was planned to bleed over into the month of June, and actually it might even bleed into July afterwards, because I did not make as much progress on it as I would have liked to in May, and that is Memories of Ice, Book 3 of Malazan Book of the Fallen by Stephen Erickson. Now, I have enjoyed what I've read so far, but I'm not very far into it. I have been very particular when I'm going to read this book, because I want to make sure I'm really giving it its attention that it deserves. Now, this is a very, I don't want to say difficult, but it's a book that, really does require your full attention. You can't be trying to do other things or be distracted while you're trying to read it, because it's already a book that asks a lot of you, and then to not give it your full attention, I feel like you're really going to miss some stuff. And this is also the book that that I plan on making or breaking it for me if I'm going to continue with the series. So I really want to give it, its best shot. I really want to enjoy it. And the good thing is I have been in the mood to read it. I have wanted to read it. I have wanted to be back into this world, know what's going on. And I think we're going to see some characters that I really liked from Gardens of the Moon back again here in Memories of Ice, which makes me very excited. I think we're going to also start to see a little bit more lore and some new creatures and some things that I have heard from talking to some people. So I am very much looking forward to getting more into Memories of Ice. Now, moving on to the new stuff. And the first book well, it might not even be the first book I plan on reading, but one of the books I plan on reading is The Cretaceous Past by Session Liu, who I think has probably firmed up his spot as my favorite author. I don't know, that will be a tough list to make, and I will do that video at some point, my top 10 authors. But last month I read The Supernova Era by him, which is the first book, no, this is the second book I have read outside of the Three Body Problem series, and I really liked it. It's had, once again, some very thought-provoking ideas, very flat characters, but that's kind of what I've come to expect from this author, and I don't know too much about this. I think this has something to do with dinosaurs or something maybe, but I just know that this is something he has written, and I finally am diving back into his work after a very long hiatus, and I am curious to see what this is about. This is a pretty short book. I think it's only 5.5 hours long on Audible, so this isn't a huge time commitment, and I don't expect it to be earth-shattering, groundbreaking like The Three Body Problem, or even Ball Lightning for that matter, but I do expect for it to at least present one or two very interesting ideas, and just see him play around in any book is a delight. When you have an author that you really connect with, like I do with him, it's nice to just get a chance to read their work. Another author that I have thoroughly been enjoying this year is Stephen King, and so I haven't actually decided which King book I'll read next. I made a video of my Stephen King TBR, so I'm trying to just knock some books off of that, and so my options are going to be 11/22/63, which is a pretty long book, so I'm not sure I'll actually have time to get to it, but it is one that I definitely want to get to. The Shining, and then the last one is Pet Sematary. So one of those three will be the King book I read this month. I read Salem's Lot last month, really enjoyed it, though it is probably my least favorite King book. I still really enjoyed it, so he has just been, he's 4 for 4 with me right now as far as books go. So I'm just going to kind of keep making my way through. Obviously he has a huge catalog and kind of so many books that I can read. So those are the next three. One of those three will be up. If you have, a strong preference or want to give me a sales pitch for one of those three down below in the comments, I will definitely check that out. Now for my planned science fiction read of the month, and that is Jerusalem Fire by R.M. Melch. Now, I had no idea that this book existed at all until I watched John from Talking Story, his interview with Janie Wertz, and this is one of the books that she recommended. John asked her for female authors that are really influential, really important, but maybe never got the shine that they should have, and this is one of the books that she recommended. I don't know too much about it. I like to go into my books kind of blind, but I think this has to do with like intergalactic travel and like coming back to Earth or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, she recommended it to me, or recommended it to the audience, and I decided to go ahead and pick that up and put it on my planned reading as my science fiction pick for this month. And speaking of Janny Wirtz, I actually plan on reading another one of her books this month. Now, I will not be returning to Wars of Light and Shadow just yet. I don't think reading a Malazan book and a Wars of Light and Shadow book at the same time is the best thing for me. I do really want to get back to those books. I would be on book 4, and I actually had a viewer give that book to me, and I'm so thankful for that. Thank you very much. And so I do really want to get back to it, but like I said, I don't think it's the best to be reading those two series at the same time. And so I am actually going to pick up Masters of Whitestorm by Janny Wirtz, and this is a standalone. I think this has to do with a slave, I don't want to say rebellion, because I think it's really centered around a singular slave who is escaping or trying to break free from bondage. So I think it will be a good read. I'm sure her prose will be top tier as always, her characters will be top tier as always, her world building will be top tier as always. So I am very much looking forward to that. Now, because I am a mood reader, that is all subject to change, and why I always throw in a couple other things that maybe I will consider picking up. And one I have on the list is Mouse by John Gwynne. I have read his Bloodsworn saga, the 2 books that are out for that. I really enjoyed those, and so I know a lot of people speak very high list. Is it not Bound and Broken? That's the Rat and Kyle Hill series. I can't remember what the books series is called, but the first one is Malice by John Gwynne, so that is maybe an option. Another option, and this has been one that I've been flirting with the idea for a science fiction read here for a little while, and that is Starship Troopers by Heinlein. Once again, another book I don't know too much about, but it is something that I kind of want to get to. Another one is The Deep by Nick Cutter. I read The Troop by Nick Cutter for October last year. Really enjoyed that one, and so this is another horror book, but I think it takes place in like the bottom of the sea, which would be a terrifying place to be. So I would very much like to get that. And I actually forgot, there is one other novella that I do plan on reading this month, and that is The Employees by Olga Ravin. I'm not 100% sure how to say the last name there, but this is basically, I don't know if it's supposed to be a satire or if it's supposed to just kind of be a commentary on like employees, and it takes place sometime into the future. I forget exactly the year, but it has something to do with employees, complaining and how that is kind of handled on a starship, I believe. And this was another one recommended to me by somebody watching the channel. So thank you very much for this recommendation. And I do plan on getting to that one because it is very short. I think it's like 2.5 hours long on Audible. So, I'll be able to breeze through that one pretty quickly. But that is my general plan of reading for the month of June. I'd love to know what your TBR is down below in the comments. And as always, have a good one.